Welcome to the Bourbon Case Files. I'm Nick, and I'm here with Peter. How are you doing today?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we are going to be sampling some Widow Jane, aged 10 years today. Have you ever had Widow Jane before?
No. Widow Jane sounds, I don't know, dangerous. No, I've never had it before.
So it's kind of an interesting story. It's actually a distillery out of New York, and at the current time, they don't have they don't have their own bourbon that they've prepared and distilled. So what they actually do is they go out and they scour Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, and taste a bunch of different bourbons and determine what's their best. And then they bring them in and they go through a process of blending them or marrying them together. And all of them are aged 10 years. So everything's aged 10 years. But so it's a small batch because it's is the way they do it. And it's batched 5 barrels at a time. So every one of these, is 5 barrels are put together, batched, and that's how they get the flavor.
5 barrels put together, but do we know where they're bringing them from, or no?
They don't, though. They don't. They go out and they taste, because there's a bunch of different distilleries out there that are maybe not producing, or they sell to different labels.
Okay.
And so they produce and then they age them.
Got it.
And they're sitting there aging, and through that process, you can go and you can taste them and say, hey, I want to buy this many barrels of that and this many barrels of this. And
okay. Do they add anything to the so they take these barrels, blend them into one. Do they do anything else to the process that is different?
Well, they say they proof them with their limestone mineral water from the Rosendale mines of New York. Okay.
Interesting.
And interesting, this mineral water, it's the mines, the limestone from the mines were actually used to build some pretty famous things.
Okay.
I think they call them I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to mess this up. The caissons of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay. The
pedestal for the Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
That all comes from that limestone. Parts, or the Washington Monument, parts of the White House.
So listen, I don't know much about how it's distilled, and I'm going to put you on the spot. How is the water used in the process, if you know?
So I don't.
Okay.
I may look that up in a little bit so I can explain that.
Okay.
But the answer is I don't know the answer to that. And I don't know if they would share that necessarily, because it's probably their secret.
Okay. I didn't know how much water. Listen, I don't know how it's made. I don't know how the water is used, but certainly sounds like a nice water. I don't know if that makes a big difference. You think it does?
I think it can. I think it can impact the taste of it.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I'm just thinking this. I smell like it's almost like caramel, like something sweet to it. I don't know.
Yep.
I know it ain't gonna taste like caramel. We'll see. We'll see.
Take a taste. Let's see.
Okay. Interesting. No caramel.
No.
I smelled it, but a little heat. A little heat on the back of the tongue. Not too much, but there was a little something there.
Now here's what's interesting. So this is only 91 proof.
Okay.
So 45.5 alcohol by volume.
All right.
And so it's interesting because I definitely can tell you there's some 100 proof bottles that I feel like have less heat.
Would you say you're feeling a little more heat for the amount of alcohol in it? For it being 91 proof, you feeling more heat, or you feel like that's consistent?
For me, it's consistent.
Okay.
I imagine with being on a cube,
on the cube, it's a little bit less heat. For me, it's a little bit more palatable, but I do like my bourbon, like my whiskey's a little bit smoother, and maybe it's because I'm younger. I don't know.
No, it's.
I don't put soda or any cola in it, so don't.
Listen, I appreciate that.
Let's just get that on the record. I don't mix anything in with it.
and don't get me wrong, there's some that's for.
So listen, I just need to put this out there. I will do old fashions, Manhattans, but
Yep.
long gone are the days of putting Coca-Cola in my bourbon.
Okay. That's fair.
Unless it's a plastic Wild Turkey bottle.
So I probably, you want to know who introduced me to Widow Jane? My dad.
Okay.
Yeah. He was the first one, brought it home one day, and he's like, hey, I found this new bottle. Let's try it. And we tried it, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And it's not difficult to find.
Okay.
A lot of the bourbons that we have on here, we talk about, they're ones that you can't really find unless you're willing to pay secondary prices. This one here, you can walk into a liquor store, 95% of the time you're going to find a bottle of it.
Okay. What, like to a Total Wine, or you got to go somewhere a little bit?
Total Wine, ABC,
Okay.
Publix,
Okay.
Liquors. Any liquor store you go to in Central Florida, you're pretty much going to be able to find this. Now, they do have some other bottles, and I can't go through all of them. There's a new one called Baby Jane. My understanding is the Baby Jane is they're actually doing their own distilling process, doing their own bourbon from scratch that they're doing, but it hasn't reached the 10-year mark yet for them to call it, the Widow Jane, because they're all aged 10 years. This is their Baby Jane, a little bit younger.
How long do we got to wait for that?
You know what? That's a good question.
Is the baby growing?
Yeah.
How big is the baby at this point? We got 5 years, 6 years?
I think we still got 4 or 5 years.
Okay, a little time. We'll get that on the Bourbon podcast in about 5 years.
That sounds great.
Back.
Yeah, and you're right. When they're doing their own Widow Jane from their recipe, from their bourbon. We'll have to cut, definitely. We'll have to have you back on it, and they'll be like, okay, we're going to do a blind taste test.
A blind taste test. We'll see if we can tell the difference. It sounds like they've learned a lot from their process of tasting other batches and blending them. It sounds like they've learned a lot, and maybe going to come up with the best one ever. Who knows? We'll have to wait a few more years.
And there's a rumor they're looking for they're in the process of getting a new big distillery to put it all under one roof in New York.
Are they distilling all over the country, or are there specific states they distill in, like New York, or they're in Kentucky?
So Widow Jane does, they get the bourbon from Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana.
Okay.
But it's the final, is done in New York, and they want everything to be done in New York. I was, looked into it a little bit, and it's. Listen, I think it's a good bourbon. To me, we put it on a rock, and it's pretty easy. We can sit there on a, Thursday night football game or Saturday football game, and sip at it while you watch the game.
Of course. hey, we'll be toasted by the end of the game. But let me ask you something. Not to get too far off the beaten path here. When you're going in there and picking up, I know you said your dad just picked this bottle up. Are you doing research online, or are you going in there and just feeling it when you look at it? How are you kind of searching new bottles of bourbon they've never heard about?
I typically will not just buy a bourbon that I've never heard about unless it's recommended by a friend.
Okay.
If someone, for example, and I can't think of the name of it. I went into a Publix Liquors, and there's a gentleman that I've gotten to know a little bit that works there, and a very, very nice guy. Happens to be from Columbus, Ohio. And that's where my best friend Brian's from Columbus, and his family lives up there in Upper Arlington. And they had one bottle left of this, and he says, hey, and he said, I was asking about some allocated. Hey, do you have any of this? Do you have any of that? No, we're sold out. He said, this bottle here, he said, you should try it. He says it's bottled in Columbus, Ohio, and it's bottled by a veteran.
Okay.
And he says, it's unique. He says, I can tell you that when, we got some in, he said, I have regulars that come in just for this bottle. And so I trust him. He and I have talked bourbon enough. Okay. I'm like, you know what? It was worth the purchase. So I bought a bottle of that. spoiler alert, that's going to be on another episode. I'm going to make sure it's when my buddy comes down from Ohio, and we're going to open that one up together. That's a friend recommends something, someone I trust that has a good palate.
Okay.
Now, if I just walk in and see something, I'm totally that guy that I pull up my phone
and search it.
And I start doing research,
Same.
seeing the ratings, reading about it, seeing what it tastes like.
Google will unveil the truth.
Yes.
My experience.
Especially because so many bourbons now, I feel, are overpriced just to be overpriced.
Yeah.
You can get very, very good bottles of bourbon, for $35, $40, $50. So if I see a bourbon that's priced at $90, $100 that I haven't heard of, I'm going to do some research before I buy it.
Okay. Typically, some people walk in, they see a $90 bottle, they're assuming it's good. Not always the case.
Not always the case. I have definitely had some $90 stinkers, so we won't be sampling those here.
Some of these liquor stores I go into, somehow the service isn't so great. I'm trying to search the bottle up. I can't find it, but okay. I'm just going to have to call you up instead of doing any research. Either hang out, so it sounds like you either got to do your research or just hang out at a liquor store all the time and get a good relationship with the salesman or saleswoman to get their opinion. But okay, or call Nick up and he'll recommend.
I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to. Listen, there's so many different bourbons that are good. Obviously, there's less that are great, but so many that are good.
I feel like you search it on Google, like, hey, it's like the 4 or 5 the same names of like the bottles you can't ever find, right? Like Eagle Rare or the E.H. Taylor or something's like, oh, this is the 5 you should get, Pappy, and like go get Pappy. It's like, what are the bottles at $50 to $100 that are really good for? That are affordable, so
that you can find.
That you can find, that I can go on a Friday night and pick up, and have that on the weekend.
So, I have a group of friends, and some of them are bottle hunters. They go out and they look, and there's some of these stores that we call museums, and it's funny because if you asked me for a rare bottle, I could 100% give you 3 or 4 places right now. You could drive over and look at them, but they're marked up, 6, 7, 8 times.
Wow.
What they should cost, and that same bottle's probably been sitting there for 2 years because they want to say, hey, look, I have this rare bottle, but they're only gonna, it's a $200 bottle, a $300 bottle, and they're gonna wait till someone comes in and spends $1,500 or $2,000 for it, and that just seems ridiculous to me.
That seems when there's bottles like this out there, that seems a little ridiculous. Take your you take your family on a vacation. That price and get a $50 bottle is a smart move, but I'm sure there is some expensive bottles worth the price.
It's funny you say the vacation thing. So Zach, my law partner, he says that all the time. Whenever we're looking at something like that, he's like, Nick, that's a 3-day ski trip. He's like, is it that good?
Is it that good?
And I'm like, well, 3-day ski trip's a lot. So maybe we go on the 3-day ski trip.
Yeah, give me the lesser bottle. We'll bring that on the 3-day ski trip.
Yes,
that's a smart way of thinking. But why not get the expensive bottle and go on the ski trip? Is what I say.
You work a little harder. I guess maybe we can.
That's right. Hey, work hard.
That's right. Work hard, play hard.
That's it.
One of our core values.
That's it.
So when you get any plans for this weekend?
Well, football season's coming. So, I'm just watching the preseason, and I heard they're going to have college football potentially on Red Zone. So,
really?
I heard that. Red Zone's getting purchased. I think the ESPN, I can't keep up with all of it, but I heard potentially college football may be coming to a Red Zone near you, which is, don't tell our wives, don't tell the women. But that could be big. So I don't know. Listen, what it's been for me. Okay, let me give you a little background. I was born in South Florida, but I grew up in Maryland. I'm a Washington Commanders fan.
Okay.
So, of course, being a Washington Commanders fan, it's every day looking at the Terry McLaurin, What his contract?
What's going on?
I don't know. Every day.
Is he coming to the Packers? I mean, I heard he might. No.
No way. But I did hear, if you're a Packers fan, their quarterback's getting surgery on his non-throwing hand. So we'll see what happens with that. But no, I mean, I'm spending the weekends getting ready for fantasy football, doing my research, watching preseason, and just lounging with my dog. If I can get a good nap on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, that is a good weekend. What about you, man? What do you got going on?
Well, this weekend I'm moving back into my house after a long remodel.
Okay.
But very similar. I do fantasy football as well.
Okay.
So starting the research process. How many leagues are you in?
I keep getting kicked out of leagues because I just win them all the time. No, I think I'm only in one. And my wife's in a league with her job, but I am the phantom manager that no one sees coming.
Okay.
So two.
Okay.
Two.
So I have limited myself this year to 2.
Okay.
But I feel like as our firm's growing, we probably need to have a firm league at some point.
When
we need to get there.
10 teams. I think that's the number. And we have a league, firm league, and I guess there will be a perennial champion. But I can share the title if you.
There we go. Now you're 2 leagues, and then one where you're a phantom owner. Any unique rules in them, or are they just standard rules?
Standard, nothing crazy. Standard, the half PPR, just standard rules. Nothing, no fantasy dynasty leagues or anything like that. I don't do anything crazy like that, but just the standard.
So both of the 2 that I'm in are keeper leagues.
Oh, okay. So you're it's extra.
2 years ago, and this is where I kind of have my issue, right? So last year I had Saquon Barkley.
Good pick.
And obviously he was on the cover of Madden this year. So of course, you expect for him to unfortunately be injured, and
he gets the Madden curse. It's just how it happens. I had McCaffrey last year. So.
Yeah. So but going back 2 years ago, I had drafted, or I had picked up Jordan Love on the waiver wire, which is a very solid starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Certainly a good backup.
Of course.
And so the way our league works is whatever round you lose, like 1 up. So I would lose a 14-round draft pick to keep him. But I also have Brock Purdy, who fell to me in like the 11th round. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, both those guys are much better than 11th round picks.
Yeah.
And I got to make the decision, which one do I keep? Because I think that's the better value than keeping Saquon and giving up my first-round pick.
You got tough decisions. We're going to need more bourbon. I will say, I heard Jordan Love is getting surgery on his non-throwing hand. And I will say, Brock Purdy don't have a lot of people to throw to because one of his receivers, Deebo Samuel, is now a Commander.
That's true.
And their star wide receiver is not coming back till week 6. Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
I promise you, I do a lot of legal work. I only do a little bit of football research.
Listen, I don't know if I need to start tracking how much work you're doing because you are way more up on what's going on in the NFL than I am.
I read quick, I promise.
Listen, I may have to touch base with you before my draft to make sure because...
Hey, I hope there are none of your other... league members are watching this. They're going to know.
I need to tell Ernie right now. Ernie, that guy's up at like 2 a.m. checking the waiver wire every week.
Ernie, we're in the locker rooms, man. You can't beat us, Ernie.
Okay.
All right. We know these players. We know these coaches. I'm calling them up. Nick's going to win this year. It's going to be a blowout success as long as he calls me.
Absolutely. So, what did you think of this one, Widow Jane?
Whew, that was good. I like it more on the cube. I mean, I like a little less heat. I like something I can drink, and I'm not. You do 3 breaths and let's take the next shot. So this is smooth. I'll tell anyone who's not a huge bourbon drinker, loves the heat, loves all the danger of a high proof. This is a great bourbon to have on the rocks if you're an entry level bourbon drinker. I think especially if you're looking for something with a little less heat and pain going down. This one was nice.
Excellent.
I definitely recommend this one.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Listen, as football season comes in, we're going to have to talk some more fantasy football.
Hey,
so
as long as I get some bourbon, you can talk all the football you want. But of course, anytime.
Awesome. Thank you all for stopping by and listening. Please give us a thumbs up, give us a like, a follow. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.